Hello and welcome to Communication Connection. I'm Terry Likes. Thank you so much for joining us. The new season is underway for TheatreMSU, and it's an exciting time for students and faculty. And we have a new theater faculty member joining us here on Communication Connection, Greg Thorn. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to Mississippi State.
Thanks for having me. Loving being here, by the way.
But we're glad to hear that. You're already having a lot of fun working with the students and the colleagues in theater. You've already got a production under your belt. We'll talk about that. But first, a little bit more about you. You've got a graduate degree from the University of Idaho, recent teaching experience in North Carolina, so you've been all over the U.S. Tell us about your background and what brought you to Starkville.
Yeah, got my undergraduate degree at Davidson College. Spent 3.5 years there doing theater, hopped around with some roadhouses for a little bit of time in between, jumped in with Elon University for the last 9 years at this point, doing a mixture of some TD work, ATD work, and then eventually teaching lighting design. Did some freelancing in between, and then I finally made it over here. The opportunity jumped, and I had to jump right on it. It just seemed like this was the place I needed to be.
Well, you bring in expertise in lighting design. Now, for most of us, including myself, I don't fully understand that. When I walk into a theater and I see the stage, I see lights pointed at the stage. So tell us more about the intricacies of lighting design.
Sure thing. So lighting design is using angles, intensity, and different instruments to tell a multitude of things that are going on stage. It tells where we are, what time of year we are, whether or not we're in a realistic place. We can help set the mood, but most of all, we can make sure people in the set are seen. So it just involves a lot of different, great. So it just involves a lot of different angles and colors and just pretty much anything we can do to help support the show without distracting from the show, I guess is the best way. And yeah, that's an image from my production of 39 Steps a few years ago. So I got to do a lot of really fun colors with that one because it was a very goofy and very melodramatic show, which was a lot of fun.
Well, it means you've also got to be up on the technology, and technology is constantly evolving.
Oh, yeah, because everything that's new 5 minutes ago is no longer new. So it involves a lot of research, and for me, it's keeping a network of people that also keep up with it. So if I happen to miss something, then they can message me and go, hey, by the way, check this out. And we also have really great network of people that can help us test lights out, try them, and whatnot. So it's an ever evolving game, and the best thing I can do is just to keep staying on top of it, so our students stay on top of it.
You've worked on a lot of shows that we've heard of over the years, one being Legally Blonde. It won some accolades for you. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And as someone who works with faculty and students, I know it's important for students to see that you are achieving at a high level because they know they're going to get a lot from your instruction.
It certainly helps. I try not to focus on the end result accolades, mainly because who knows what went into winning that, and who knows what went into actually, who knows what went into the voting process. I try to focus on the process itself of every show and treat every single show like it's a massive, big breakout hit. And if we stay focused on the process with the students and myself, that keeps you engaged, that keeps you in it, and it makes it self-fulfilling.
It is great, though, that students who not only can learn so much being on the stage, working behind the scenes, and if, for example, the Kennedy Center recognizes them, it's great for their portfolio. Anyone in your community, your discipline's going to recognize that when they're planning summer experiences or full-time employment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we mentioned Legally Blonde. You've also worked on shows like Mamma Mia, which we produced here just a few years ago. In fact, one of our crew members here at University Television was on that crew
That's awesome.
for Mamma Mia and Steel Magnolias. So some that we've done here, but you've been involved with in the past. So lots of opportunities to bring your expertise here. And the most recent production is part of TheatreMSU's recognition of its mission of serving a youth audience and bringing hundreds of school-age children in from area schools who may never have seen a play before, and in this time they got to see Charlotte's Web, a lot of fun.
Yeah, very much. And honestly, theater for young audiences has a very special place in my heart because I actually met my wife doing theater for young audiences. So when I found out that that was such a central part of our mission within TheatreMSU, I was really excited to get here. Charlotte's Web was one of the most fulfilling shows of my career, mainly because I don't tend to run the lighting for each show. I set the lights and then let the students run it. But when we went to the Riley Center and traveled it out, I actually did run the console, and I got to see the students' reactions, like all the little kids' reactions, and it was so much fun. And they would get to see things like the webs light up, and that was like an ooh ah moment for them, and it was just so much fun. So yeah, theater for young audiences is amazing. It's a way to make let the new generation become theater fans, and I think it's just a great thing.
So next up for theater fans is A Piece of My Heart coming up in November. Tell us a little bit about that production.
Kind of the polar opposite of Charlotte's Web. So Piece of My Heart is centered around several women's experience serving in Vietnam, either as nurses or performers or the like. Both their entry into Vietnam, the war itself experience, and then the aftermath afterwards. So it is a much heavier production, but it has a very, very amazing message. And so far, all of the students have been doing such a great job with it. And I'm really, really excited to see this one. I'm actually not designing this one. I have a brand new lighting design student who's interested, so I'm very excited to see where it goes.
Well, that's great. You get to serve in more of a mentor or consultant role.
My favorite thing to do in theater.
So a wide range of shows, from the children to Vietnam to, in February, so to open up the spring, you've got a classic Greek tragedy.
Yep, Medea, which the shocking thing about that is that the students voted to do Medea, which you don't normally see. I'm very excited about that one too because it is largely student produced and designed. We have one design slot maybe up in the air that I might step in and perform, but for the most part, student directed, student designed, and obviously student acted. And the other beautiful thing that I love about this slot is that it's our black box slot, meaning that the audience will actually be up on stage surrounding the action, which is a very, very different experience than sitting in a proscenium house because you are right up close and intimate. And with a show like Medea, could be interesting to be that close.
Well, so the theater in McComas Hall seats over 400. How many are you able to get on the stage for a smaller production like that?
Depends on the staging. So we haven't made up that number yet. So we can surround the stage in an arena setting. We can set it up as an alley staging or something of the sort. So it really just comes down to the staging. But I mean, we've heard talks of possibly 100, possibly more.
Okay.
But it all really comes down to what the design ends up looking like.
Okay, but certainly a different type of setting and feel for the audience.
Absolutely.
More of an immersive experience.
Yes, very much so. And that's why I love black box shows so much for that reason. I love being 6 inches away from the actor. So it should be a very fun time.
Looking ahead, one more big play for the theater in April. It sounds ominous. She Kills Monsters is the title.
Sure.
But it has an appeal, which I'll let you reveal to the audience.
Yeah, so it's a play based in the world of Dungeons & Dragons, of which myself and the technical director, Jesse Wade, we are both avid D&D players. So it's very, very exciting on that front. But essentially it's about a young girl who loses her family, both parents and sister, in a car accident, and she tries to connect with her sister through a D&D module that she wrote. So she starts playing through it. It depicts both reality and the fantasy world. For a designer like myself, we are all so stoked to do this show. There's going to be so much fun to be had, and it's I've not read it yet, I've not seen it yet, but I will say I am so excited. This should be a very, very fun one.
And theater here at Mississippi State is not just for theater students. There are many ways to get involved. A few of them that are related to theater is the improv group, Lab Rats, which is a totally different beast, but a lot of theater students are involved with it, but others outside the major. You've got The Scene, which is a film club, so related to all of this, and you've got the Black Friars Drama Society, so many ways for students to get involved in these variety of organizations.
Most certainly, and I'm actually the faculty advisor for Black Friars, so they're working on an 8-hour 8-hour play fest. coming up, which I'm really excited about. Lab Rats has shows all over campus all the time. They all came together with APO, Alpha Psi Omega, it was last week, to do the haunted house, the haunted theater rather. That I actually got the pleasure of lighting, and it was so much fun. Yeah, there are so many opportunities for students. They all do really, really great work, and it's just refreshing to see how passionate these students are. I've come from different universities that they do the main stage shows and then go home. These students want to do theater. They want to perform all the time. So it's just amazing.
Well, I think it's wonderful for college students to realize that college is a lot more than just going to class and studying. There are so many ways to make college a real life experience and something they will cherish and always remember. And I think these are some great ways they can do that.
Oh, certainly.
You have a recent addition to the family.
Yeah.
So a third member, a little girl who has joined your family, and now the three of you are here in Starkville, so we're happy for you.
Thank you.
Tell us about your little one.
Yeah, Sydney Eleanor Thorn is her name. She is 19 months old at this point. That is my favorite picture ever because I took over the decision of what she wore home. So I found a custom shirt that said assistant to the lighting designer that was going on her no matter what. Yeah, she is the most fun, coolest part of my day every day. I've had the pleasure of bringing her onto stage a few times, letting her play with some lights, letting her play on the set. She's loving it here. We're all loving it so much here. And I'm really looking forward to the day that I let her hit the go button on a lighting console and let a bunch of stuff happen to see how she reacts. But yeah, she's amazing, and yeah, we're just really, really happy to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you here. And you mentioned earlier student involvement and students getting to have choices. So the theater is not just you as four members of the faculty deciding this is what we're going to do. Tell us about this student decision-making process.
Yeah, so one show a year, we allow the students, we basically throw up a few ideas. There's some ins and outs of choosing a season, rights involved, what's available, etc. So we kind of give them a guideline to work within, but we let them have a voice in what's being done because we're not in educational theater to just do theater ourselves. We're here for the students. So if they have any opportunity to weigh in, whether it be, I want to design this show, I want to direct this show, I really want to do this show, we want to give them the opportunities to do that. That was actually a large draw for me at MSU, is it's so student-centered. So yeah, it's a great system. I love that they get to make their voices known, and yeah, I'm just really excited to see what comes next.
Well, thank you for being here, Greg Thorn, lighting designer here on Communication Connection, and we are happy to have you here at Mississippi State, and you're already off and running, making a lot of great contributions. So glad to have you, and glad to have you joining us here on Communication Connection. I'm Terry Likes. We look forward to seeing you next time.